Hey everybody, this is my workshop on Discourse and Discord. It's navigating Discord as a student. Alright, so I know that most of you guys have already heard of Discord. You guys might have already made an account and have already joined a few school servers and professional servers, maybe even personal ones. This is just going to be a few pointers and a few suggestions as you use Discord for more student use. So, first up, when it comes to signing up, it's definitely recommended to use a personal email when creating an account, especially if you're going to use it for future use. Because with a school email, even if you transfer or if you make if you use your student SMC discount email, and you transfer and then you use another email, the SMC email is going to deactivate and you won't be able to log into your Discord if the email is invalid anymore. So it's always good to use your personal email so that you can keep up with all the people that you want to keep up with, and you don't have to transfer everything, and you don't have to kind of like make a big fuss about um, moving everything around to just keep up with all the people that you want to keep up with. Another good pointer is to actually have a separate account if you decide to use it for personal use. Usually most people have at least or have like one or two personal emails. Maybe like if you only have one, maybe make another one. That is a personal email just so that you can easily have a separation of professional life and your personal life. So if you are a gamer and you like being, silly and funny with your friends and, post, funny statuses and whatnot, or like you are also streaming on Discord or streaming with Discord and you have your own like streaming stuff, I think it'd be very recommended to keep a separate account for all the school things and professional development that you would need to do, just because it will make it a little bit simpler to differentiate between the two. I suggest this as somebody who is in that position. And I decided to turn my personal account and merge it with my school account, and like, I mean, it can be a little, you have like pros and cons obviously of everything in one place, but at the same time, like, I can't be my full silliness publicly, or I can't really um do certain things that like, or if for some reason I would, you know, be uploading like different content that may not be professional or appropriate. Um, I think that that would be kind of a roadblock. So you want to definitely have a separate account to kind of differentiate between the two. All right. And another thing about Discord is that when you join a server, when you invite anybody or when you invite somebody with the link, it can be accessed anywhere. So you can send a text message with the Discord link. You can send the Discord link through any social media, and basically it's always going to navigate you either to the in-browser website, or if you already have the Discord app, it will navigate you to the Discord app itself as well, and it will give you that invite or automatically invite you once you click that link. So it's always good to know where, like, that you can always access it anywhere you'd like to. Another thing is that the on the right side here, the invite people link, that might not always be there for every server. Some servers like to have more security, so because of that, they disable invites for others. And if you want to invite somebody to the server, it's always good to just ask like the server owner or maybe an administrator, somebody with a level of power that can actually invite you to the server. All right. And another thing too that some people might already know is that you can actually create a server, and this is really useful for when you want to have a organized group in for classes or for programs and stuff. Like it's always good to, stay connected in one kind of semi-private-ish space. And in order to do that, on the bottom of all your list of servers, there's going to be a plus sign, and I'll show you in a minute. And this is going to allow you to create a server for yourself, or like you can also explore different servers. Like if you're on a personal account and you want to join like a server for a certain game or a certain hobby, you can also join that as well. Another thing too, when creating your server, is that you can actually um, I guess, have a template for school use. They created a new template for when you create your server to include like certain text channels for like homework help and for like study sessions and whatnot. Like they have helped create like a mini template for you to use for your journey throughout the semester or for however long you need that school server for. And also, in terms of like managing people, you can always assign people different roles and you can give those roles different levels of power and accessibility to certain parts of the server. So you can have like general members, maybe not have an invite button or something. And then you can have your administrators and yourself be able to access like the invite button or access to certain text channels and whatnot. So that it just helps with better organization. And on top of that, there's actually an organization bot named Me6. There's also different ones out there, but Me6 is the most popular one. And that one can actually do a plethora of things, basically. It can like auto assign roles to people. It can create automated messaging. It also gives rewards for how much people talk in the server, how much people interact with the server. In order to integrate it, you have to be logged into your Discord on browser first. And then once you access the Me6 site, it's going to um, integrate it with your Discord servers and see which ones you are the administrator or owner of. And then it will ask for permission to be added into the server. And when it comes to finishing your time with the server, whether, you you are like the president of a club and you're no longer the president, you're transferring, or you graduated, so you're no longer going to need to be part of the club. You can always transfer the power to like the next president or the next vice president. And then you can always like, if it's just like one semester server for all of like your people in the class, you can always delete the server as well, and you could do that within the server settings. But just as a disclaimer, it does require two-step authentication or a backup code that you can receive in your server settings or your user profile, basically. And I'll show you really quick right now how you can do that along with the other stuff. All right. So this is the tutor and peer mentors for STEM server. And going back to joining a server, if I scroll all the way down through all my stuff, there is an add a server and there's always explore public servers. When I add a server, it shows how you want your server to look like. So if it's for a school club or a study group or for friends, it has like so many things to do. So if I click on, let's do school club. See, is it for me and my friends club or is it for a community? I'll say for club and community. And then it will show me like how I want my stuff to look like and everything. I won't put a picture up, but you can upload any type of picture you want, and I'll just say, my server or whatever. And I'll create that. And then you can see it shows like the type of things that you're going to be left with. So it shows that I'm the owner. It shows that I have announcement resources, and then we have like meeting plans, meeting rooms, all that stuff, just to help you with your club and whatnot. And now if I were to do one with a study group, I could do that, or club or community, and I'll just leave it blank like that. You'll see that it looks different. It's going to have notes and resources, homework help, session planning, and then like a few little VCs for your study rooms and whatnot. Now, if I want to delete it, I'll go to my server settings, delete server, right? It's going to ask me if I want to. I'll say delete server. And then it's going to ask for a 6-digit authentication code. Let me see. I think the authentication code is going to be. You can also migrate it with what was it called? Google Authenticator. There you go, Google Authenticator. And that's just like the two-step authentication that I was talking about previously, where you have a certain number of, or you have it connected to your phone, basically. I have mine connected to the phone with the Google Authenticator app. There's also going to be backup codes in your user profile, and I'll show that in just a bit. So, there you go. And then it's going to send you all the way back to your friends list after you finish everything. Go here, going back to the STEM/peer mentor server, and also transfer of power. I'll show you how to do that right now. So if I go to my server settings, I go to my members, and say I want to give my membership to another admin. Like I'm the server owner, and I want to give my server ownership to Paulette. If I do that, I just click the 3 buttons on the side right here, and it gives me a couple options. And on the bottom, it says transfer ownership. So there's that. And then it says, like, owner's transfership to Paulette. I acknowledge that by transferring ownership. And it's just kind of like a disclaimer, just so that you know that you're giving them the power to everything. And you would, click this box, yes, and then you would click transfer ownership, and then you would, I think you would be prompted with the 6-digit authentication code as well. And then once you do that, you'll be able to transfer ownership. So if you decide to become a server owner and you decide to want to delete it, or you want to transfer the power, it's always good to have the Google Authenticator app integrated with it. And I'll show you right here in my user profile. Profiles, oops. Oh, I forgot my streamer mode was enabled. My account, where's my user profile? Oh, let me disable streaming mode. Also, if you're like streaming something, Discord has a cybersecurity protection called streamer mode. So like if you're ever sharing your screen with Discord and you don't want people to see certain parts of your identity or your like email or anything like that, you can always enable it so it gives you the warning before anything. So I'll go to my user profiles. So let me see. I think it's my accounts. My account, yes. So there's here is a 2-factor authentication. This is where you can view your backup codes. I would have to enter my password, and once I enter my password, you're gonna get a list of about, I believe, like 8 or 10 codes, basically, that are, I believe, 6 digits long or more sometimes. I think it is 6. And then, yeah, and you can also enable, your message authentication if you'd like to. You can always change your password here as well. Yeah, so that's always a good practice for that. So yeah, let me go back to the PowerPoint now. Yeah, so next we have practicing internet safety within Discord, which is really nice. Because basically, it's always good to consider how vulnerable you are with your academic communications. Because obviously, as you enter new spaces, like clubs, like general school servers and whatnot, you can end up being vulnerable to your information, or maybe have unwanted communications and whatnot. So it's always good to like look at your privacy and safety options and just see if you have the proper settings for receiving messages. You can always enable the setting that you don't allow people from servers to message you unless you're their friend and whatnot. Will message you directly. So basically, you can stop people from, interacting with you outside of the Discord, or if you prefer to, like, say, I'll show the options right now in just a bit, but basically they can scan the images from any person that sends you any messages, whether it be friend or not, and they can actually disable giving images to somebody if you're not an actual friend with them. I believe that's the default setting for most Discord accounts, just to prevent people from, like, you know, sharing like explicit photos or anything unwanted. Basically, it disables any media sharing among somebody that isn't your friend, regardless of if they are in the server with you or not. So that's always good to know. And as a server owner or administrator, you always have the options to kick or ban somebody. The difference between kicking somebody is that you just kick him out of the server as kind of like a warning. They do have the ability to come back with an invite email or with an invite link. You can ban somebody. When you ban somebody, they will not be allowed to join back with their with any invite link whatsoever. So that is like the differences between kicking or banning. And the way that you would do that is if you would right click on their profile, and then you have like a variety of options to choose from. Like, I chose Corey, my vice president, for this, and basically if I wanted to kick or ban him, I would just click like kick or ban Corey. You don't need any special permissions for that, I believe. You can just simply kick or ban anybody um, just by confirming it. It won't be an instant thing. Like, if I just click ban Corey, it won't immediately ban him. Like, it gives me a confirmation prompt first, and then it allows me to do that. So, don't worry about like accidentally kicking or banning someone. And you can also unban or unkick somebody as well. You just have to go to your server settings, click on who's banned or who has been kicked, and then you can like unkick them or unban them basically. So yeah. Let me show how the server settings for internet safety will look like, and I'll reference back to my Discord for that. Okay. So actually, go to my user profile. Let me go in settings. Yeah, privacy and safety. There you go. So basically, it gives different levels of scanning basically. So you can scan messages from anybody you want, even if they're friends. So like if you added somebody as a friend that you're not really sure of, you can always just, click this one, and then therefore any messages that you get, they're going to scan it. They're going to see if there's any images that might be explicit, or any like, other stuff that might be yeah. So yeah, it says automatically scan, delete direct messages you receive that contain explicit media content, basically. So yeah, it's good to prevent that. I mean, I don't feel that, like, I mean, I could always keep it on, honestly. I mean, it doesn't matter regardless, but yeah. So also this one, it says allow direct messages from server members. So basically, what does it do? Basically, you can withdraw from having that. You can also disable direct messages on individual servers by visiting that server settings page, right? So, yeah. So I want to allow it though. Yes, because I have a lot of servers that I want to talk to people with that aren't my friends yet. So yeah. So yeah, and also, like, if for some reason that you get harassed, or something happens that you would need your data, any data that you have stored, so any messages, any video call logs, anything like that, you can request the data from Discord as well if you need that for any any evidence or something like that. So yeah. And in terms of like server setting safety, privacy settings, I believe. Yes, here it is. It says you can allow direct messages from other members in the server. Check, and this is applicable not just for the admin or the server owners. This is applicable for anybody. So if I were to go to, let me see, like let's do astronomy club. If I were to go to astronomy club, I am not a server owner or mentor or admin. I go privacy settings. The same thing applies here. And you can share your activity status in the server. So like you can show like in different servers if you are actually playing a game, if you are showing your like normal status and whatnot, like you have the option to not show that. Um yeah, and then also you can allow users to join your activity. So if you're in a VC, if you're in a voice channel, if you are streaming something to people in a voice channel, or you have a like specific event or something that allows you to invite others through a game or something, they can join that, but you don't have to. You don't have to allow people to do that. So if you don't want people joining your stuff, you want more of a private thing, you can always disable that as well. So, yeah, I think that is everything when it comes to Discord. So far, there's many other things to explore as well. Like I would say, like roles and like how you can customize them, like server settings, like the roles. You see how many members have like what permissions and whatnot. So like for admin. It will give you how they're displayed first, like how you want them to display. You could change the color of them. So if I wanted purple, I can make them purple. If I wanted pink, I can select pink, or you can choose any other custom color you'd like. Yeah, I'd say just I hope that you would choose colors that aren't so like hard on the eyes because it might be hard to see some people's names. And you can also select what permissions people have in the server. If you don't want to go through all of that, you don't care if they have the same, um, I guess, commands as you can always make them an administrator, which means that you can give them just full access to everything that you have, essentially. Yeah, so you can do that. And yeah, and these are the people that you can assign to. So yeah, alrighty. I think that is it for today. If anybody has any more questions or want any more tutorials on it, feel free to let me know, and I'm more than happy to explain or show more of what Discord has to offer. Thank you.